Fun fact, we were talking about caffeine last time. I went to grab a soda this afternoon down at the gas station. I got a Mountain Dew Purple Thunder, 73 grams of sugar. I think a Coca-Cola has what, like 40, 50?
I'm not too sure. I'm actually trying to aim to stay away from soda this whole summer.
That's so hard. 39. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna drink it anyways. Okay. So I got a couple things that I want to talk about before we dig into stuff. Go ahead and share my screen. So there was some talk of extra credit yesterday, and I started feeling jealous because I didn't have any extra credit. I still don't have extra credit. Like it won't count towards anything except just for the fun of it. Um, but I did come up with extra credit. So if there are people that are interested in attempting a challenge during class today, I've prepared one and it is available to you. Fair warning, it's really well, it's hard in my opinion because I'm going to give you next to no instructions on how to complete the challenge. Um, but it has to do with, let me make sure I've got the right screen shared. I do. Okay. It has to do with this window right here that I'm going to leave open during class. And I'm not going to say anything else about it. But everything that you need in order to complete the challenge is there. And if you do complete the challenge, um, hopefully you could make this go from uh, I haven't been hacked yet to something that shows that you were able to hack it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So if you're looking for something fun to do, if you think I'm going too slow, there is something to sink your teeth into. Oh, also, we had a little bit of discussion yesterday about GitHub Copilot. Is anybody interested in seeing GitHub Copilot in action?
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. So a little bit of background here. I have a code base open, and this is a project that I'm working on in TypeScript, which is very similar to JavaScript. Um, But this editor is called Goland. It's made by JetBrains. It's very similar to VS Code, except it just looks a lot more old school. All that to say, you can get GitHub Copilot and install it into VS Code. You can install it into your favorite text editor. I have it installed in mine for the JetBrains IDEs for Golang. You just go to preferences and there's a section for plugins. And under plugins, you just install the GitHub Copilot. It's the same thing if you were using VS Code. But anyways, once you have Copilot installed, what do you do with it? Well, let me show you because I think it's really cool. So I'm working on some code here. And a little bit of context on the code. It's for a website that I'm building called Wizard Prices. I'm a big Game Boy fan, and so I made a website to help me track the prices of Game Boy games when they hit eBay, so I can snag them if they're super cheap. So anyways, I wrote a website that lets me do this. So one of the things that I want to do with my website is I have this little bell that goes off whenever eBay a new game gets listed. So it's kind of annoying because sometimes eBay goes crazy and new games are getting posted and my computer is just making these ding noises. So anyways, I've got my code for this website pulled up. I'm gonna go and create like a checkbox to turn the dings on and off. So I'm gonna get GitHub Copilot though to help me write the code for it. All right, so I'm in my code for the website. I'm gonna go down to let's find the section where I'm actually okay, here we go. Oh, by the way, this is React. This is something that you all will be dealing with later. So what you see now may look a little bit unfamiliar, but give it a couple weeks and you'll be going, oh yeah, I've seen this stuff before. So anyways, so here I am inside of, oops, let me take this out. Here I am inside of my code base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just start writing a code comment telling GitHub Copilot what it is that I want to do. So I'll start writing a comment. I'll say something like, add some React state, manage turning notifications on and off. GitHub Copilot is already auto-completing my comment, which is crazy. Okay, then I'll start typing a little bit. So I know that I need a constant. And this is GitHub Copilot filling in this next line of code, which is totally correct. So I'm going to hit tab. So it has given me some code here to manage turning a button on and off. So I'm going to go ahead and take that code and I'm going to start adding it down here. I'm going to create an input box. I'm probably going to use a checkbox to turn notifications on and off. So I'm going to start typing in input type equals, and I haven't even finished typing my sentence, and GitHub Copilot is already suggesting that I add a checkbox. So. Pretty crazy. You can just start to slightly suggest what it is that you want GitHub Copilot to do, and it will automatically fill in the code for you. It's not perfect, as you can see right here. There's some errors going on. So the code that GitHub Copilot suggested isn't perfect. For example, let's see, right here, I'm missing a closing. Yeah, I'm missing the right closing brace. And yeah, there we go. So the code wasn't one-to-one exact, which means that it's not like we're turning over our jobs to GitHub Copilot. Like a lot of times GitHub Copilot will suggest something and it'll just be garbage. But other times it gets really close to what you're asking it to do, and it can be really helpful. Any questions about that? Thoughts?
Just
Crazy?
so you was just showing us how to use GitHub Copilot to kind of like help you with your code a little bit.
Yeah. So disclaimer for GitHub Copilot, it is paid, so you need to go and get a, I think it's a GitHub business license. I don't know what it is. My employer uses GitHub Copilot, so I get it for free from them.
It's $10 a month, I think, if you want to do it like this, a personal plan, and then you could do like a business one, and they got enterprise. I think enterprise stuff too.
Okay. So yeah, $10 a month sounds reasonable. And you can use it for all sorts of stuff. Like if I just go and create a new like scratch pad, make a scratch pad.js, and I start writing some code, like again, if I described a comment like add up the numbers between 1 and 10, and I just hit enter. Okay, I'm just gonna keep hitting tab. There we go. It wrote all of that by itself, which is pretty crazy.
I heard that it was kind of called Amazon Q is also kind of like this. Do you use that?
Amazon what?
Amazon Q.
Q? No, I've never heard of it.
Then it was kind of this one's kind of free though. You can go down in the in Vision Code using the Vision Code.
Amazon Q or just the letter Q?
Just letter Q.
Oh, generative AI powered assistant. Yeah, I haven't tried this one before. I only used GitHub Copilot. I'll have to check this out.
I think this
I
one is
wonder
free
if
right
it,
now.
I wonder if it works with I wonder if it works with my editor. Amazon you go down. Oh, it looks like it does work for my editor. That's cool. I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the recommendation. I'm curious to see if it's as good as GitHub Copilot. All that to say, it's really neat, and I think it could really help with certain tasks, but at the end of the day, it can hallucinate and suggest completely wrong code. Like there's a couple things with this code right here that I could point out that are not great with it. But for the most part, it does a pretty good job, and it's a pretty good sounding board too if you have an idea and you want to you just want to try something and see, just see if it works. But yeah, anyways, let's get GitHub Copilot. So, all right. Let's close out of this. Somebody asked a question about, oh yeah, so Mo, talking about iTerm, we will probably have time to look at that today when we dig into some terminal stuff later on. Okay. Just leave that right there. Okay. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to get our GitHub personal portfolio website, the ones that we worked on yesterday. We're going to get those wired up to a nice domain. So something that you can actually give to other people to have them come and visit your website without having to add the .github.io. The idea is that after this week, you'll have a website that's deployed that you can use for your personal brand. So think things like a place for you to upload information about yourself, put your resume on, that sort of thing that you can hand to employers. So just consider this, what we're building this week, to be kind of your personal portfolio website. We're going to talk about that, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about setting up email for your domain. We're going to briefly look at doing some analytics, so how you can track what users are visiting your website and get an idea of the traffic that your website is taking. And then I have a slew of terminal stuff that I want to share. We will either look at terminal stuff like iTerm and using tools in the command line. We'll either go ahead. Oh, I'll meet you. We'll either, I'm not sure if we'll do those today or tomorrow, but that's kind of the plan for today. That is the plan for today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay. Does anybody know what DNS is? Can anybody tell me what they think
Domain name
DNS
system.
domain name system? Does anybody know what it is?
It's your internet protocol for IP networks.
Well, yeah, he just answered it.
Okay.
Yeah, it also converts IP addresses to like readable names that normal people could read instead of just a list of numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Just slightly tweaked. It takes human readable names and turns them into IP addresses. So that's exactly it. So DNS is primarily used for what Deidre just described, which is taking human readable and turning them into IP locations. Because I mean, nobody's going to remember the IP location for Facebook servers. They just type in Facebook. So we kind of have the same sort of question today, where we've created these websites. So mine is deluxe.github.io. yours is, your GitHub username .github.io, and the question is, how can we take that that address that we have on GitHub and turn that into something that's a little bit more professional? And we can do this through a combination of things. We can do this using domain names, if you've ever bought a domain name before, but also we will end up using DNS to route traffic from our GitHub website to a domain that we control and we own. So yeah, it's the domain name system, and like we discussed, it just takes human readable names and turns them into IP addresses. So if you wanted to know what the IP address is for google.com, I don't recommend that you go and enter in these numbers yourself, but you could find this out by asking DNS. I'm gonna pull up in my terminal and show you a couple things. Feel free to try this out in your own terminal. You're not going to hurt anything if you do this. But if you open up your terminal, I'm going to use iTerm, but if you've got just terminal installed on your computer, feel free to use that. But what you could do inside your terminal is you can use a utility called dig, and it allows you to find the IP address that's associated with an address. So we could do dig google.com, and it will give us back some sort of IP address, in this case 142.251.33.78. so that's the underlying IP address that's used when we reach Google. And that's all DNS is doing. It's a means of taking the human readable and turning it into this IP address. And we could do these sorts of queries on all sorts of different websites, but this is what the browser is doing underneath the hood. Whenever we type in something into the address bar, it's doing this automatically for us behind the scenes. So the question is, what do we get if we do what happens if we do this on the personal GitHub pages that we have set up? Well, let me show you. If I do dig on mine, de1ux.github.io, we get 4 different servers. So these are 4 different GitHub servers or edge servers that GitHub controls that route traffic to all the project pages that are hosted on GitHub. So the way that we're going to take domain names, things that like our .com domain names that we're going to go and get, the way that we're going to take those and route them to GitHub so that we can use a nice domain name as opposed to this deluxe.github.io. The way that we're going to do that is by, instead of routing, is by taking those domain names and routing them to these same sets of IP addresses. And we'll accomplish that by using DNS. Just a little bit of information about DNS just in general. The systems that manage the mapping from human readable to IP address is maintained by a bunch of different companies. There's not one centralized DNS authority. There's a bunch of different ones. Here are some of the popular ones: Cloudflare, Google, and VeriSign. These are all really popular ones. If you've never heard of DNS before, it's very likely that whatever router you got when you rented internet in your house, whether that's through Comcast or whatever ISP you're using, it's very likely that your ISP is acting as the DNS authority or the DNS provider for all the internet traffic at your house. And that's not really a good thing, because if you relegate control of that to your ISP, you're really just letting your ISP know every single website that you visit, which they kind of already know. But if you use your ISP for DNS, that's kind of one additional way that they know what websites you're visiting. If you're ever interested, you can always go into your router and change what the default DNS providers are, and these are just some good ones. So when you go and buy a domain, like what we're going to do tonight, when you go and buy a domain, you're really just buying the rights to the name, and you're really buying the rights to that entry in these DNS authorities, these DNS providers. So if you think of it like a phone book, you're really just buying that slot in the phone book. After that, it's up to you whatever you want to put in that slot. It's up to you where you want that human readable name to resolve to. And when we ran these dig examples, I know I kind of jumped through and there's a lot of text going on here, but the big thing to point out is here, these IP addresses. These are A records, which is a type of DNS record, but specifically these are the values that we're interested in. These are the IP addresses that we care about. I kind of glossed over what an IP address is. Does anybody have any questions about what an IP address is? Kind of assume most people know what it is, but I want to take a second if anybody has any questions about it.
Sorry, I was gonna
Has
give a
anybody
crack
heard?
at it, but I just
Go ahead.
oh sorry. I was gonna give a crack at that IP, but my brain just went blank. But you go ahead, sir.
Oh no, I'm not about to try to explain what an IP address is. I just wondered if everybody understood what the terminology was. Has anybody looked into IPv6? Because my slides do not deal with IPv6.
IP.
No.
Ain't that's like your location or your cell phone location? Like if you was on the dark web, excuse me, and you had like a VPN, can't you use a VPN to change your IP address?
You said a lot of different things there. Yeah, I mean, you could do that regardless of whether you're on the dark web or not.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, no, VPN providers, that's a quick way of changing your IP. Man, that talk about advertisement city, right? Like in the last 2 years, how many YouTube videos have you seen where someone's trying to get you to buy NordVPN? NordVPN or all these other yeah, VPN
Did you hear
providers.
about the hack that just happened with DHCP?
DHCP.
So there's a protocol hack. I know it's because of my job. We had to talk about it. There's a protocol hack with DHCP, so where like they found a way to somehow exploit a protocol in DHCP where it kind of reroutes IP addresses. So no matter what, if you're on a VPN or not, it's not saying whether they're attacking a particular VPN like provider, but if you're on a VPN, because they're attacking the DHCP protocol, it doesn't matter. They can get your original IP address anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna post a link. It's a crazy thing though.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out. I mean, yeah, that's one of those same things with, if anybody's familiar with Tor, that's the same sort of thing that a lot of people pointed out with Tor, was that, yeah, it's not totally anonymous, because if you are in control, or if someone is like in control of the exit node on the Tor network, like, yeah, you can see everything. And I think that the VPN protocols, the DHCP exploit is new to me. And I'm interested in hearing about that. But the VPN protocol, the protocols that are being used underneath are fairly mature. So they typically tend to do a pretty good job of hiding or sorry, of encrypting your traffic. But again, if the VPN operator is not, it's not trustworthy, then that's a problem in and of itself. But yeah, if I need to at some point update my slides, because it's at some point these IPv4 addresses will no longer be will be a thing of the past. And if anybody's ever seen an IPv6 address, they're pretty wild. They're not as easy to remember as IPv4 addresses. They're much larger. But anyways, neither here nor there, just a fun aside. Anyways, one other thing that you could do in terms as software engineers, one thing that we can do when we are setting up our domain names, and testing to make sure that our domain names are working how we intend, is we could actually use dig in conjunction with making requests to specific DNS providers. This is really, really useful for here in a minute. When we go and buy our domain names, we're going to set up these records that redirect traffic from the domain name to GitHub. And what happens is, because I mentioned there's lots of these phone books that are out there. Google has them, VeriSign has them, Cloudflare has its own DNS provider. Because there's so many of these phone books out there, it takes a while for any changes to propagate through those DNS providers. So one thing that you could do with the dig tool is you can actually query an individual provider to see, okay, has Google updated their DNS entries yet? Has VeriSign updated their DNS entries yet? And also, if you are having problems reaching your website and it's not doing what you think it's doing, you can check against a known DNS provider, so maybe one that you're not using currently, and see, are the results that you're getting from that different? So let me show what that looks like. So I mentioned on this previous slide, here's a couple of free DNS providers that you can use. So when we were making queries about our GitHub address, we were just doing dig, and that is going to use whichever DNS provider my ISP is currently using. But I can also specify a specific DNS provider by doing @symbol.8.8.8, and that's going to use, this is Google's DNS server. That's going to use Google to resolve this address, and it gives me the same results, but it allows me to cross-check whether or not I'm getting the same answers for this domain name from multiple DNS authorities. So here in a bit, we're going to end up using this to verify that our DNS names are being, or our domain names are being set correctly. DNS, I mentioned it's like a phone book, but there's a ton of different records that you could put into the phone book. Some of the common ones we're going to look at are A records and CNAME records. I believe we're going to use CNAME records today. We might use A records if something doesn't work how we expect. But DNS is a schema. So there's only a certain set of records that could be stored in it, and they each have a different have a different type and a different purpose. So we're going to look at a couple of them in order to get what we want done today. I don't think I'm going to talk about this today because the DNS hierarchy isn't as important, but I am going to go through a couple of pieces of terminology just so that we all kind of use the same language going forward. The one part here that everyone should be pretty familiar with is in the URL, the very first thing that we see here is HTTPS. That's called the protocol. www is a very, very common subdomain. We don't really see it in our URLs as much anymore because it's kind of gotten phased out. But anything that you see before the domain name is considered the subdomain. So for example, if we look at docs.google.com, what's the subdomain in that URL?
It'd be docs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing if we went to spreadsheets.google.com or slides.google.com. Slides would be the subdomain. So anything that you see before that last domain name is considered the subdomain. The domain name is obviously just the domain name. And then the TLD, the .com part, the TLD is what comes after at the very, very end. And this right here is what we can register or what we're going to go and buy for Namecheap. Once you own this, once you own the domain name, you can attach whatever subdomain you want underneath it. When we get to the capstone, you're going to be at the, for for the capstone, you're going to have a front end and a back end portion when I see you next. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up your capstone website, and then that's going to be your front end code. And then we're going to create a API dot and then your website. And that API dot subdomain, that thing is going to be your backend, and we're going to use that to make calls from your front end to your backend. So later on, we'll create a subdomain for your capstone. We're not going to do that this week, though. Okay, domains. Has anybody here purchased a domain before?
I have, I believe during college some time ago.
Okay.
Well,
Do you mind sharing what website you used? Do you
I
remember?
believe it was a team project, so it was a GoDaddy, I believe.
GoDaddy? Nice. The classic.
I actually remember which one I used. Yeah, I used Squarespace last time I did it.
Squarespace?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Wow, I didn't even know Squarespace sold
I
them.
got a new one. Yeah,
Oh,
you
you
can
know
do it
what?
right natively in there too. Like you can go in there and buy and purchase it directly in the actual web application, which is cool.
That is cool. I wonder they must be using somebody else, like, or maybe Squarespace is big enough at this point. I mean, they're pretty massive.
Domain name roundup is what I use.
Domain name roundup. I've never heard of that one.
I think
I'm
it's
gonna
actually domains.org.
domain roundup.
I
Is that
think
what you
it's
said?
domain roundup is like one of their subset of uh it was a pain in the ass to try and get access to. I think it was like either domains.org or all their menus were all messed up. Yeah, it's
Oh, nice. This looks
yeah.
older than
It's,
GoDaddy. Oh, sweet, and it comes with cPanel. Man, this is put me back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 days. Private servers. Nice. Okay. So because I wrote my slides for Namecheap, I'm just gonna force everybody to use Namecheap. If you don't use Namecheap for this, I'm gonna not offer any support, basically, because I don't want to have to figure out what the other, excuse me, I don't want to have to figure out what the other domain name registrars are doing. Like every cohort, I have a couple students that decide, oh, I'm gonna use Google to buy my domains, and then I end up having to learn how to do support for or set DNS records in Google. Please don't make me have to do that. Please, everybody, just for this boot camp, please just do it through Namecheap, and then we'll be able to get this working. Okay, but before we jump in and buy a domain, I have to have everybody turn on MFA for Namecheap. Is everybody pretty familiar with using authenticator apps?
yeah.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay, I'm gonna walk through setting up MFA using Namecheap. There used to be a desktop multi-factor authenticator app that I would recommend to students, but they shut it down since last cohort. So I'm going to try to do something a little different this time. I'm going to try to join with my phone and show you how to set this up on your phone, and hopefully this works. So let me stop screen sharing. And if you've got your phone, if you've got a favorite MFA app, just feel free to use that. I'm primarily going to be doing this for the folks that haven't ever used or set up an MFA app. So go ahead and grab your phone and then I'm going to grab the password and join the meeting.
Wait, what's happening again? We're making an
So hang out for 1 second. I'm going to join the Zoom with my phone and show you what
okay.
I'm doing on my phone. Okay. Okay, here's my phone. Are y'all able to see this? Is everybody able to see that phone?
Yeah, we definitely can.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, great. And if you got an Android, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just do this on mine. All right. So the authenticator app I'm gonna use is called Google Authenticator. So go to whatever your app store is and grab this app, Google Authenticator.
Oh, wait, you said Google?
Yes, Google Authenticator. I know there's a Microsoft one. If you just type Authenticator, there might be a Microsoft one. You could use that one as well if you're into Microsoft stuff. I'm just gonna go with the Google one though.
Oh no. I mean, I already had the Google Indicator already installed because I use it for like my Discord and stuff.
Oh, perfect. Then you're already set up. This is just for folks that don't have an Authenticator app already.
Okay.
All right, so if we got the authenticator app, we're set. We just gotta wait for the next steps.
Exactly. If you've got an Authenticator app, just wait and we'll get those codes entered in for Namecheap here in a minute. All right, for everybody else, go ahead and open up Google Authenticator and go through the Get Started. I'm going to go ahead and sign in using my Google account. And then when it says add a code, I'll be ready to scan a QR code. That's what we're going to use when we get to the step where we need to add MFA and Namecheap. So just be ready to use this app and scan the QR code using this app when we get to it here in a second. Any questions about that?
So we're adding,
Okay.
we're doing add code.
Yes, we'll add a code here in a second. So, all right, that's the MFA portion, and I need everybody to enable MFA on their Namecheap account. So let's go and let's sign into Namecheap and create an account if you don't have one. So head over to Namecheap. I'm gonna sign out of mine. Log out. All right. Here's the link to Namecheap. Go ahead and click on sign up. Here's the link to sign up. Sign up and create an account.
Hey, once you sign up, they give you like a recommended authentication app. Do we We don't got to use that, do it?
Don't. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
what they're suggesting.
Gotcha. Should I top up the account right now?
Pop up the account like with money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might be able to use the Brex card. If you're not, let me know. But yeah, we need to add some form of payment to it. And if you don't do it now, we'll do it here in a second when we get to buying the actual domain.
Okay, I'm gonna wait then. I'm gonna wait then.
Sounds good. Just stop share for a sec so I
All
can
right, so
sign
we
in.
made our accounts, and then what's the next step?
Sorry, 1 second.
No, you're all right.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can't show some of the stuff on screen, so I got to be careful about what I share. All right, once you log in, you might be seeing an app like this, or a page like this. What we're going to do really quick though is we're going to go and turn on MFA. To get to MFA, go to you could click on this switch to authentication app. If you see a prompt, feel free to click on that. Alternatively, there's a button here on the dashboard that you can click on, or you could go to
Yeah.
account profile
Hey. Stop.
and then security.
Relax.
Yep. Mo, you're unmuted, but also I didn't see. Can you do that one more time for the two authentication?
Yeah, sure. The easiest way to get to it is to go to account profile and then security.
Thank you.
And then there's a section called two-factor authentication. This is the 2FA, the multi-factor authentication stuff. Click on manage. And then it's got a bunch of different options here. What we're going to turn on is the authentication app. It asks you to enter your password, enter your password. It'll give you some backup codes. Be sure to take those and save them somewhere. I'm going to put mine in the text file on my computer. Save them somewhere. And then here's the QR code. This is the thing that we were talking about earlier. So grab your favorite authenticator app, the Google Authenticator, if you're using that, scan the QR code, and you should have some kind of code in your authenticator app.
How did you get the QR code to show up again?
To get the QR code to show up, are you on the two-factor authentication screen?
Yes.
Click enable under the authentication app section.
Mhm.
Enter your password if it makes you, and then grab those backup codes and throw them somewhere safe. You'll need these in case you ever lose your phone or lose access to Google Authenticator. And then on the next page, you should see a QR code. Are you able to find it?
Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else having trouble setting up two-factor for Namecheap? All right. Let's buy a domain name. So you get to pick whatever you want. I would suggest if you can to grab your name, because I think that makes for a really good personal portfolio name. There's a code going right now for 598, which is pretty dang good for a domain. Mine, unfortunately, I can't get because somebody's been squatting on it for years. But just grab whatever portfolio, whatever name that you want to use for your personal identity. And I would strongly suggest that you make it a .com if possible. If you need help, let me know. Also, you could ask the group and we can get creative in terms of trying to find a way to
Sorry,
find your domain name.
I was trying to handle my authentication. So we go to make our domains by going to account.
So you can go to the landing page of Namecheap. You can go pretty much anywhere on the website and they'll
Okay.
sell you a domain. I'm gonna grab a domain. I'm gonna call
What is
mine
that beast mode?
Beast mode. I have no idea. Oh, I guess it helps you try to find. Oh, nice. Well, I'm gonna try it out. Make them. Let's see. Use domain hacks. I'll give it a budget of $20. TLDs. It needs to be a com. Yep.
Is giving name generator.
Oh, I need to have cleared all of them. Okay. Then do com. Nice. Once you have your domain name picked out, let's go ahead and throw it back on the spreadsheet. I'll make a new column. Here's the link to the spreadsheet. There's a column. Okay, I'm gonna steal cohort 6. Hang, somebody took it. Has anybody got $6,400 laying around that I can use?
Shoot,
yeah,
I was gonna ask the
I was
same
mine's
thing.
3,000.
I mean, if we all pitch in. What? There's 15 people here.
I said it was like 9,000. I thought it was.
Nice.
I got a bunch of blessings for y'all. 64,000 of them. Wishes and prayers. I have a domain already that's my name, which is pretty crazy to be able to have access to, considering that I'm Joseph Smith.
That's is absolutely crazy.
Right. So I have, I mean, it's Joseph M. Smith, so it's got my middle initial in there, but still, that's crazy. Can I go and transfer the name into Namecheap?
You can. It's kind of a complicated process, if I recall.
I've done it once using because I bought it on domains.org and then I transferred it into Wix where my website was built. But now since the code, like I'm making it from scratch, I'll probably host it on a more modern domain hosting platform.
Yeah, I mean, check it out. It's if you go and Google like domain transfer Namecheap, transfer your domain. Yeah, you won't lose any of the time. I think they make it pretty easy. In my opinion, Namecheap is a pretty solid choice. So yeah, I mean, I think the thing there though is it takes a certain amount of time, and I don't remember how long it is.
It was like
But yeah,
48 hours the first time.
okay, yeah. I mean, if you want to kick it off, by all means, go for it. Also, if you just want to buy another one to have, this would be a great opportunity to do that too, and you can also follow along.
Cool.
But that's really cool that you have something that already that you like. Um, oh, all right, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab mine. When you get to the page, it asks you about domain privacy. Keep that checked, but don't add any of the other add-ons. We can get all of these and more for free. Okay, I'm gonna come off screen to buy this. Thank you for the code.
What is the promo code for?
I believe it's for that $5 coupon.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just popped up on my screen for like $6. I never pass over a promo code.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I'm just
Can you-
having trouble finding one that like isn't outrageous like priced.
I used Beast Mode like Nathan did, and they gave me one for like $10.
So the only thing with like leaving check is domain privacy.
Yeah, domain privacy they have to give you for free, so it's not like they're yeah, just leave that one checked.
So what's the next step we're doing now?
Once you've got that purchased, let's give folks a second or two. There is a sheet over here. So go ahead and enter in the domain name that you bought on this sheet. Here's the link to that sheet. Also, I just use this column tonight for attendance, so we don't have to worry about entering in attendance anywhere. Oh, nice. A couple people got their exact names. A bear, Desiree. Very cool. Harley, you got yours exact. Okay. All right. Anybody having problems getting the domain name bot? Once you have it, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I don't know if it's just my computer being really slow, but I just keep getting the spinning wheel. So I'm just waiting
This
for options.
if it's not working, go back and then just retry it again. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes the payment takes a second to go through, or it could be flaky. Like I had to go back and redo it on my end because I had an old credit card in there, so I had to go back and check my payment settings.
Nathan?
Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm having a similar issue as well.
It's just spinning.
I reloaded it. It looks like it took me to the page with the authentication app. I scanned the code with Google Authentication. Where do I go from here?
So, and then did you enter in the code and complete the two-factor?
Let me do that. The code that scanned keeps changing on my phone. Is that usual?
That's exactly what it should be doing. Yeah. Enter the code once it stays. Once you can, grab the code, throw it in the box and hit enter. That will prove that you have that code.
Okay, it says you have successfully turned on two-factor. Where do I go from here?
Perfect. Go into Namecheap. Now that you have your account secured, go into Namecheap and buy a domain. Try to get your name if you can. Yourname.com.
Okay, domain list.
So you can click on Namecheap and it'll give you a big box here to search from. You can go to domain list. I'll bet it. I don't see a place to be able to buy on here, but oh, at the top it says search for your next domain. I think you could try entering it in there. But go and try to buy a domain for your personal portfolio website.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm assuming the code doesn't work for the premium domains.
For the $6,000 ones?
Yeah,
No.
just get it for $6.
Yeah,
Okay.
and by the way, I'm not crazy. I bought cohort 5 last year and it did not cost me $6,000. I don't understand who was parked on cohort 6 this year. It's crazy.
We're buying privacy, right?
We're not buying privacy. It should be for free. If it's checked and it's free, then yes, leave it on.
Oh, I just see like a subtotal of like $1 and some change.
It should be like $6, I think, and 16 cents or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, was that it's oh never mind. Never mind. No.
No, you get swindled.
Quick question, Nathan. So I
Yeah.
see a domain name here. I see a few of them. There's a .com, .org. Does it matter which one we pick, depending on like
Grab the .com. If it's cheap, grab the .com.
And I see like 1028 a year. Is that like typically what you guys are seeing as well, or?
That should be the price without the code. There's a code floating around.
I see
Newcomer 598 should bring it down.
with the code. Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, we're using a promo code.
Do we buy anything frequently with it, or just the .com domain name?
Just the .com, yeah. Don't buy anything else that you don't have to. Okay. Yeah, these are all gonna be parked at Namecheap. Yeah. So if you go and visit the domain that you just bought, these are all parked websites. So until we update them to point to GitHub, they're just gonna show, well, they're just gonna show ads, which we will update here in a minute.
Yo, Has, I think you wrote your domain on my line on the spreadsheet.
Oh, I'll move it. No, somebody else got it. Nice.
Hi, quick question. I'm still trying to get the authentication working. Can you help me with that?
Yes, absolutely. We all kind of need to be here at the same spot in order for us to move forward. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay, I'll
Christelle, if you want to share. Great. And actually, one second.
Can you double check?
Yeah, totally.
All right, once we
Yeah.
bought it, then where do we go to see it again, or do we just type it?
Well, for now, all we're doing is we're throwing it into that GitHub portfolio links spreadsheet, and that's going to count as our attendance for tonight.
Okay.
Right now, the domain names aren't going to really do much. You can throw them in the browser and take a look at them if you'd like. It should just be a Namecheap like parking page. Anwar, did you get were you able to get a domain name?
Yeah, for some odd reason, I'm having a bit of an issue with that because your audio was cutting in and out with the first 10 or so minutes, but I'm trying to reach
Ah,
what everyone was saying here.
I'm so sorry. Where are you at?
I'm at the screen where it says 598 with newcomers. I'm not certain if I would be using the PEX card for that or
Yeah, use the Brex card if you or the PEX card if you have it for sure.
awesome. And is it just a matter of purchasing it and pasting it into there, or because I heard something about like putting a code in or
Yeah, so the part about the code is when we created our Namecheap websites, we set up MFA. Have you set up MFA before?
oh, not yet.
Oh, okay. Never set up MFA for another website?
Never. Is
Dang,
it is it
I know lots of
is it
websites
is
that
it a
require
long
like
is it a
Discords and
long
stuff.
tedious process or
No, it's pretty quick. But if you don't do it during class, let me know and I'll help you get it set up by the end of class. I don't want you to leave tonight without having Namecheap secured with MFA.
okay, thank you.
Yep. And then last couple people, Zakim, I don't know if Zakim is here today. And then Safi. Okay, no worries. Cool. It looks like pretty much everybody has gotten their domain name. That's great. Let's go ahead and let's use this as our break and we'll come back and start wiring up our domain names to our GitHub. So we're looking at 7:05, back at 7:05. All right, see y'all then. Actually, Anwar, if you have a sec, do you want to just get caught up real quick?
Of course, yeah.
Cool. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Austin, Harley, Hassad, nobody's taking me up on the extra credit.
Oh, no one took you up on the extra credit? Let me see.
Yeah, it's staring all of you in the face right there. An hour and a half. An hour and a half that this has been. I figured somebody would have broken into it by now. For crying out loud, I put the username and the password right in the message. Is that enough hints?
Oh, I got it
Okay,
now.
last hint. Has anybody ever SSH'd into a server before? Is that
I was doing it earlier and I was trying, but I didn't know what username it was supposed to be. But now I
did I
realize that that's
did I
what it
just
is.
give it up? Did I just give it? I gave it away. The reason why I asked is because I've been sitting over here with my other monitor. I'm logged into the server right now and I have it showing me all the users that are currently logged in, and it's been very lonely in here. Just me, myself, and I. I had to message Max before class. I was like, hey, this isn't getting live streamed on YouTube, right? Like there's a delay between when we do this and it gets posted, right? Okay. So let's carry on. Oh, let me leave that box there. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and set up our domain. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to do it in two steps. We have to do something on the GitHub side, and then we have to do something on the Namecheap side. So we bought the domain, we've got the Namecheap stuff figured out. Let's leave the Namecheap as is. Let's go switch over to GitHub Pages, and then we'll set up GitHub Pages first. So here's what we have to do over on the GitHub Pages side, and I'll walk you through what this looks like. So first, let's go to GitHub. You can get to your repo in GitHub using the portfolio links that we had earlier. So the let's see.
I should be in, by the way.
Very nice. I see one other user in. Cool. So here's the link to the portfolio. So you can use this to get to your GitHub repository. So click on your GitHub repository link, get to your repository, and then we're going to go to settings. And then down to pages. So this is what my link looks like. Your link is going to look a little bit different in terms of how you get to it.
You said settings, then
Pages. Here's that link. Note that that's my link. Yours will be a little bit different, but it's under settings and then down on pages.
got it. Thank you.
All right. And then down in the custom domain box, this is where we're going to plug in the domain that we bought. So we need to tell GitHub what domain that we just purchased. I've already forgotten what mine is. What did I buy? So we're at our GitHub repo. We've gone to settings. We've gone to pages. We're looking at the custom domain box. We're going to save that. All right, and then once you've added that, be sure to click the enforce HTTPS if it allows you to. It might not let us do it just yet. we'll probably have to come back and check that box. Okay, so that's the GitHub side. Let's go flip over to the Namecheap side. So open up Namecheap, and then let's get to our domain. In Namecheap, you can do this by going to account and then domain list. You can go to account dashboard. Either one of the two will work, but what we're looking for is we're looking for this manage button. So we're going to our domain and we're clicking on manage. So you should see a screen that looks kind of like this. Again, to get to it, go to Namecheap, log in, click on account, and then it might say recently active in your account. Whatever you got to do, find your domain and click manage. We're trying to get to the control panel for our domain. All right. On this page, there's some tabs up here: domain, products, sharing and transfer, advanced DNS. Click on advanced DNS. We're going to create some records. Okay. On the advanced DNS page, we're going to get rid of those two records that we're sending people to that parking page, that big advertisement on your domain. So to do that, we're going to just hit the trash can on these two records. These two records should exist already on your domain, so be sure to just delete them. Hit the trash can on them and delete until it says no records found. So we're going to delete all those entries in the phone book.
In GitHub, it's saying my DNS check was unsuccessful.
Yep, it's going to be unsuccessful until we finish this part.
Okay, okay.
Can you just repeat what you just said?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to back up to get into the domain. So account, dashboard, find your domain, click on the manage button. So are you looking at this page? No, you see something different?
Trying to get there.
All right, I'll stop sharing. Show me what you're seeing. Oh, okay. So you're under details. Can you blow this up just a little bit? I'm having a hard time seeing.
I'm not sure how.
Have you actually bought this? It says, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you own it. All right. Go up to dashboard. Let's switch to a different view here. Yep. Click manage.
Manage. Okay.
Oh, I think what's happening is you're getting this weird mobile layout because the browser window is not wide enough. So if you just like make it slightly wider, there you go. Cool.
Okay.
Now just click on advanced DNS. And then trash these two records. And that will get rid of the advertisements that are sitting on your domain. Cool, you're all caught up.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else having problems getting here? Nice. All right. So let's go ahead and make those DNS records. The instructions for this are going to be on the slides, and you can always reference these later if you need to be able to do this yourself. What we're going to do is we're going to create an alias record. So down here under advanced DNS, now that we have no records here, we're going to add a new one. And the type of record we're going to create is alias. So select the alias record. In the host box, we're going to put the @ symbol, which just means the domain itself. And then under target, we're going to make this our GitHub pages URL. So it should look something like this, except obviously switching DE1UX, switching that to your GitHub pages URL. And then don't forget to click that green check mark to save those changes. So you should have something that looks something like this after you're done creating that record.
And the TTL is automatic.
Yeah, TTL just means how long that record is valid for. So yeah, 5 minutes is perfectly fine.
What do we put for the host again?
The @ symbol. So this is the @ symbol. While we're here, I'm also going to have us set up email forwarding. So this is just going to make it so that any emails that get sent to your domain get forwarded to your personal email. This is kind of nice because then you can say, email me so-and-so at whatever your domain name is. In order to set that up, under mail settings, make sure that you have email forwarding set up here, which it should be by default. Then go back to the domain tab. So we are on the advanced DNS tab. Let's go to the domain tab. And then there's this redirect email box here. And we can create a couple of things. We can create a catch-all. So if anybody emails anything to your domain, it will get sent to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a specific forwarder. So I'm going to create an admin, and I'm going to have it forward to my email address. So this means admin at this domain. If anybody sends an email to that, it's going to get sent to this personal email address. You can make this whatever you want. You can also make this Nathan. You can make this contact. Really, whatever you'd like. Admin is a good one though. It's a classic one. All right, that's the domain.
That 402 is just our regular email, right?
Right, exactly. Yep. Cool. Once you have that set up, both pieces should be working. The only thing that you might have to do is if you go back to GitHub pages where it was saying, a couple of people were saying that they had this DNS check being unsuccessful. Once you have that set up on the Namecheap side, it's going to take it a minute for like I mentioned, for those phone book entries to propagate. So it can be kind of an indeterminate amount of time. I'm going to see if mine has already updated. Kind of looks like it has. But over on the GitHub pages side, you can click that check again, and eventually it will say that it recognizes that that record is available.
I have a question about the step before the redirect email.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the advanced DNS, I'm not sure if I clicked the right setting. Which one should I have clicked?
So over on
Underneath
advanced
the check?
DNS, just make sure that you have under mail settings, just make sure you have email forwarding turned
Oh,
on.
okay.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's some other stuff you can do under here, like you can set up like a special Gmail forwarder, but the simplest thing is to set email forwarding and then back on the domain tab, set up that redirect. At some point, though, over on the GitHub Pages side, so leave Namecheap alone, come back to GitHub Pages. At some point on the GitHub Pages side, you should be able to check this enforce HTTPS box, and that is the last step. You're going to probably have to click this check again a couple of times to eventually allow you to enable this box. But once you have enforce HTTPS checked, you should be all done setting up both sides. And at that point, it's just a matter of checking to see if your domain works. Mine is now redirecting to my GitHub site. Is anybody else able to get their domain name to work?
I'm waiting for mine. It's all right. It's going through the third step of checking.
I've added a box on the GitHub portfolio links. If it works, feel free to say yes.
It says my domain is improperly configured. I think it's still doing a check. I still see it.
Yeah, if you've got the Namecheap stuff done, it's going to have that kind of confusing message, and you might just need to wait and give it a second.
When I did check again, it's telling me certificate already exists for my domain and is usable.
Perfect. Yep. So that certificate it's talking about is the SSL certificate that's used to power HTTPS. So GitHub Pages is going to issue you that certificate. That's what clicking the enforce HTTPS box is doing, is it's issuing you a certificate.
Oh, I didn't check it. I just checked it now. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. That's interesting. I'm hitting check again, but if I go and visit my website, it shows up. So there's some lag in between those two things.
I was gonna say up at the top it says it's live at my custom domain, but it's saying it's not properly configured. So
Oh, so is it actually working?
I think.
Yeah, it looks good to me. I'm able to visit it.
Okay.
All set. And you have the HTTPS version, so I'm going to update your link. Perfect. I'm going to pick on a couple other people. Oops, don't need to overwrite your stuff. Let's see. So Jada, were you able to add those DNS records over on Namecheap? So Jada, sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a call, so I'm sorry, but no, I haven't did it yet. I'll do it in a moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Sorry,
go for it.
it was a little spotty. Can you just go over the steps again?
Sorry, which ones?
Uh,
Where were you last?
I'm at the GitHub on my web browser. That's pretty much where I left off.
Oh, okay. Did you create the DNS records over on the Namecheap side?
I already have my website on the Namecheap side, but I didn't do anything after break with Namecheap.
Okay, got it. Let's wait until the end of the class and I'll get you caught up because I think there's a couple steps we missed. Mo?
Oh yeah, I think I might have missed something, but I'm not sure. Let me share my screen. Please.
Okay.
Alright, so
Oh
I'm trying
dang,
to
where are you? Where did you end up?
well, I was trying to go to the page, so I don't like see. I was trying to go to the pages sheet there where you was at, so I could put it. I didn't know. I think I must have missed some stuff, but I don't know where I did.
Oh sure. So go back to Namecheap, and then you've got the perfect. Go up to the advanced DNS. Just show me that you have that alias record. Totally have the
Okay.
alias record. That looks great. Go back to GitHub Pages,
All right.
and then you're looking at your personal account. Go to your repository. So the
Oh, okay.
perfect. Yep, that. Click on settings up in the top right. Pages, and then scroll down. And inside of that custom domain box, type in that domain name that you bought on Namecheap. Save. Yep. And then give it a second. It's going to provision that TLS certificate. Yeah. Can you check that box yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Well, come back to this. Give it a second and come back to this. Your ultimate goal is to be able to check that box eventually.
Okay, cool.
Once you've done that, you should be all set.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I keep getting the improperly configured message every time, so I don't know if I've done something wrong.
Well, not necessarily. Let's see. Your website loads for me. It looks like you got everything set up. Are you able to visit your website in the browser?
It told me it couldn't be found.
And herein lies the beauty of DNS, right? There's multiple DNS providers. So the one that your ISP uses, the one that Namecheap uses, there's going to be a little bit of lag time between when we created those records and when you're going to be able to view it. Other people in class, I'll paste this link here in Zoom chat. Can anybody else confirm whether or not they can visit Harley's website?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, that's good. I can't, but that's cool.
I got it.
So for you, just give it a couple of minutes and let's see if DNS will work itself out there.
Right.
Tiffany, I can get to your website no problem. Are you able to load your own website as well?
No, I cannot.
Can anybody else?
Mine's is doing
confirm
the
or-
same thing.
Yeah, mine says it's improperly configured.
Well, it can say improperly configured, but that doesn't mean that it's not working. Be sure to go and just check to see whether or not you can hit the website.
No.
Here's Tiffany's website. Can anybody else load that? And Shadia, I think we pasted the wrong link earlier. Try the one without the www.
I can see Tiffany's.
Yeah, it works now.
Same.
Nice. Yeah, the www isn't going to work. We don't have that set up on our domains. If anybody really wants the www subdomain in their URL, let me know. We can do that later.
Yeah, I can't really visit mine either on my Mac, but on my phone I'm able to visit it, which is weird.
Yeah, well, and it just goes to DNS. When you're using your phone, you're using your cellular provider's DNS entry, which could be updated before the one that you're using on your computer. Unless you're using Wi-Fi on your phone. Are you using Wi-Fi on your phone?
Yeah, I'm using the Wi-Fi on my phone too.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oops, didn't mean to go back to share my screen. If you don't have your website working, but you have those records created, don't worry. We'll get before the end of the week. We'll make sure that everybody's website is working. Terry, your stuff looks good. I'm able to hit it from my machine. For what it's worth.
So how come it like does that like where like we can't look at it from our computers, but we could look at it through our phones. I mean even like even with like my MacBook, I even tried like my Windows computer too. Like it's like it's not letting me. But like the thing about my Windows computer is like wired. I got the Ethernet connection on my desktop Windows, so I don't know.
I don't think that wired versus unwired makes a difference. One thing that you could do on your Mac to force your DNS cache to refresh, there is a command you can run: Mac DNS cache refresh, and this may or may not help people. Let's see. Yeah, this is the command I'm looking for. So this is a command you can run in the terminal to flush your DNS cache. Alternatively, you don't have to do this. If we're just patient enough, you'll be able to load your website from your computer. But you can run this command, and it's going to ask you to enter your password that you use to load your Mac. So if people are feeling brave, you can run that in the terminal. Oops. There we go. And that will flush your DNS cache, and you'll probably be able to load your website. But again, if we just wait, eventually you'll be able to load it. It just takes a minute. Anwar, if I go and load your website, I'm not able to hit it. Let's use dig to try to troubleshoot and see what's going on. So I'm gonna do dig, and I don't see an alias record set for your I don't see an alias record set for your website. Anwar, were you able to create the record over on Namecheap? Were you able to hear me? Anwar?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm having a bit of an issue with the payment method on the PEX card. I shot Jason a quick message, but
Oh,
I'm just following on.
okay.
Yeah, I'm following on a different account right now, and hopefully when that gets figured out, I'll transfer it over to that URL.
Okay, sounds good.
Nathan, mine is not set up. I'm just gonna wait until the end of class so you can walk me through the previous
Yep, we could do
steps.
that. We could do that together. Okay, well, for the rest of folks, let's just put a pause on that and we'll let DNS resolve itself. If you've got the Namecheap stuff and the GitHub stuff set correctly, if we give it enough time, it will. The only thing that we need to make sure is that you have that HTTPS box checked. Okay, there's really one more thing that I want to talk about tonight, and that is I want to quickly talk about analytics. I think that it's important for you to set up some analytics on your portfolio website so you know when people are visiting it and you have a sense of the kind of traffic that you're getting. Otherwise, you don't really know if people are checking out your personal portfolio and you don't really know how well it's doing. There's a lot of different stuff that you can use to do this. One of the easiest ones is Google Analytics. But another one that's popular and free is called Clicky, and I'm going to show how to get started with Clicky. If you want to add this to your portfolio, if you don't, feel free to skip it. I think it's really cool to be able to see what kind of traffic your website is hitting. So Clicky, here's the link to Clicky if you want to visit it. I'm going to just show how to do it in my browser. But if you go to clicky.com, and let me go ahead and sign out.
So if you go to clicky.com and you click on register now, you can create an account that will allow you to track analytics. Create mine real quick. It's going to ask you what domain you want to use, what domain you want to track. This is what we bought on Namecheap, so I'm going to fill mine in. If you're following along with me, I'll give you a minute to also enter in your domain after you've created your account. This is one of those things that you set up and then you just let it sit and come back later to find out, you know, how many people have been visiting your website. I think it's pretty cool. I think you'd be surprised too once you add analytics to your website. I think you'd be surprised to see how many people are organically discovering your website either through Google searches, or if you put your website on like your LinkedIn profile. I know a lot of times I've had employers visit my personal website just by looking at my LinkedIn profile. But after you've added your domain to Clicky, it will tell you that there's a tracking code that you can use. Alternatively, you can just click on the icon for tracking code. But we essentially have to take a piece of code and inject it into our website so Clicky can measure what kind of people are visiting your website. So grab that tracking code, and the tracking code looks like some JavaScript, or sorry, some HTML, and you can just grab that and then open up whatever website it is that you're using to for your portfolio. I'm going to open up GitHub Desktop. Make sure that I have my personal portfolio repository selected. I'm going to open up my VS Code, and I'm going to add analytics to my website by just going to by index.html, adding that, copy and pasting that tracking code into it. If you just paste the tracking code as is, it has this affiliate link here, this A link. You can delete that. All you really have to do is import this script, and that's enough for Clicky to track visitors on your portfolio. Any questions about this so far?
I was trying to follow along. So once you make your account and finish, it's asking for a register a new website, and we just put it in the website we have a domain to?
Exactly. Yep, the domain that you want to track.
Wait, so are we copying like the tracking code and put it into the HTML?
Yep, exactly.
No. Wait, the entire tracking code or just the part with the script?
Just the part with the script. You could grab the whole thing. If you grab the whole thing though, it's going to have a link to web analytics, and it's just going to add some HTML that you may not want to your website. If you just grab the script part, that works too, and is kind of preferred. I think Clicky adds that to like give themselves a little bit of promotion on your website, but you don't need to have that. It's kind of ugly to include that link. And then you can just commit and push that. Commit that in GitHub Desktop and push it up to your repository, which we know from yesterday that's going to kick off a deploy. So that code is going to end up getting pushed to the website. So if you grab that tracking code and you throw it somewhere in your website, Clicky will start watching your portfolio. And Clicky takes a little bit. First off, you need some traffic to your website. Clicky needs something to measure, but then Clicky also does its reporting in, I think, 10-minute intervals. So after you've had a couple of people visit, or even just yourself, after you've visited your website and Clicky records it, it's going to take about 10 minutes for that window of time for those events to be reported. I have an account that I made earlier, and let me show what it looks like when you have done this already. And I've let it sit for some time. So here we have a graph that shows the total number of people that visited this website today. Sadly, it was only one person, which is me, but you can use a bunch of the stuff here on Clicky to figure out what users are visiting your website and specifically where are they visiting it from. So for example, here we can see that somebody was visiting from a wave broadband IP. We can find some details about this user, like they are coming from Helena, they visited the website using Firefox, they visited at 11 a.m. today. So you can get some information on your users and specifically who's coming to visit your website. One of those things where it's really nice if you add the tracking link and you set it and then just kind of let it sit for a while and then come back to take a look at those analytics. Any questions on that?
None at all. So to see how many clicks we get, we go back to the Clicky site and
Yep.
okay.
Clicky will record it in the background and come back and visit it after some time, and I think you'll be impressed with the results, especially if you go and take your website and use it as a professional portfolio, which is what I'm hoping folks get out of this week.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me. I had a real quick. I'm back now. I'm trying to get my my domain name page open with GitHub. Every time I try to put it into the custom domain and save it, it keeps saying DNS check unsuccessful.
That's fine. Just let it sit, let it simmer.
Gotcha. All right, and then
It's fine. It's not broken. Yep.
And then when I go to add the alias record and I try to save it, it's kicking back as well. It says error occurred, invalid address.
Oh, and this is over on the Namecheap side, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, share your screen real quick. Let's see what you got.
All right, now when I try to hit it now.
So you got the @ symbol, drop the slash from the end of the value.
Oh. I think that'll probably fix it instantly.
That's perfect. Yep. All done. Just let this sit and tomorrow or later on we'll check make sure that this website's working.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. That's it. That's all I've got for tonight. Tomorrow, let me give a quick sneak peek what we're going to talk about. Well, so I promised that we were going to do I promised that for the last day on this week with my time with all of you, I was going to make sure that everybody has a website that's working that they can push to. And I think a lot of people do have that. I'm seeing a lot of yeses on the GitHub portfolio, which is great. And then tomorrow, my priority is going to be to make sure that all the ones that are missing here are filled in. So that's going to be the primary goal for tomorrow. After that, though, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the terminal, specifically talking about the terminal app. We might just not use the terminal app. We might just start using iTerm right off the bat, starting tomorrow if people are interested in that. But there's a lot of commands that I want to go through and I want to share with all of you. Even if you don't end up using this every single day, I think it would be really nice to get some familiarity with the terminal, because a lot of things like React, for example, some software that you're going to encounter as a software engineer, you'll need to know how to use the terminal for. For example, earlier I pasted a command for flushing the DNS cache, things like that. There's certain commands that you can only run in the terminal, and I want people this week to get a little bit of exposure to doing that. So tomorrow is going to be a really easy day. We're going to make sure that our websites are up, and then we're going to do some fun stuff in the terminal. And I have a couple of exercises for us to go through. Any questions, thoughts, concerns?
Check your site.
Excellent. So we've got one person that completed the gauntlet, that captured the flag. I'm probably not going to leave it running overnight, because that seems really scary to me, especially if this recording goes out. Then a bunch of people on the internet would be able to see a random server that's with a username and password. So I'll probably shut it down for tonight, but I will spin it back up tomorrow in case anybody else wants to take a stab at it. But very nice.
I was gonna be mean and hide the username and password.
Very cool. Anybody else?
None so far. Everything's on my side's working pretty fine.
Excellent. Cool. All right. If anybody wants to hang around and work on their website, and if there are any issues that I can help with their website, I'm here for it. But otherwise, for the rest of you, have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more website and terminal stuff. Have a great evening.
Well, actually want to stay to see if Clicky is working. I put it the right way if you want to help me with that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just going to stop sharing and then pause. Oh no. Oh, I forgot to resume the recording after break.
Oh.
Oh no.
What, you mean like start the recording?
I didn't start the recording after.
Don't worry. I got you covered. I've been recording on my Windows computer all this time. So if you want to get that, then yeah.
What a champion!
Yeah.
And clutch.
Clap it up.
What a save! Oh my god.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. That's why I got my Windows computer and my Mac separate. So just in case.
Nice.
900
Would that
IQ.
work? Because doesn't it automatically upload at the end?
It would have if I was recording my computer, but I've been selecting record to the cloud, so it does Mac's whole YouTube auto deal thing.
Terry, you could message.
Yeah.
Max, and then he can try to edit in.
Yeah, I'll put on my drive so you could like get it.
Perfect. Yep, that's exactly what I need. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Ozma.
Yes, I'm ready to go. Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, we have plenty of time. So tomorrow, let's just do it tomorrow at the beginning of class. Does that work for you?
Okay, no worries. And I've been going through the slides, so there is some that I can like figure out. If I get stuck, then I'll just circle back first thing tomorrow.
That sounds perfect. Great.
Thank you.
Yep. And then same thing, Cornelius, with Clicky. It's got that roll-up window, so it's going to take a minute for it to record visits. I think if we come back to it tomorrow, we'll actually have some stuff to be able to look at. Does that sound okay?
Okay, that sounds totally fine.
Okay. Also, I think by tomorrow, just by sheer fact of having the website available on the internet, you'll have more traffic to be able to do tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
So with like the GitHub page, and when it says DNS valid for primary, that's like normal.
That's what you want to see. Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's what the end state should look like.
Yeah, so I see that, but then I also have it's improperly configured right below it. So like I'm just confused on.
Yeah, I was thinking it says my website is improperly configured, and I just want to see if that's normal or not.
Austin, do you want to share your screen and show me what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna move this over here. Oh, what happened? Try that again.
You got the HTTP. Oh yeah, DNS valid for. See, that's weird. Click check again. Oh, www. Why is it www?
Where does it say www?
It said www a second ago. Oh, you probably had that in the custom domain box. Wait, what? www is improperly configured. Is it upset because we don't have a www record? Okay, Austin, do this for me. Go to Namecheap and get to that control panel again, like for the domain. So yeah, open up Namecheap. We're trying to get to that advanced DNS thing again.
Oh, I have that.
I'm gonna follow along too since I have a similar
Yeah, I think
problem.
this will work for both of y'all. Click Add New Record. Create another alias record, but instead of putting the @ symbol in the host, switch that to a www in the host. So back up where that alias record was that you just created. No, leave that alone. Yeah, that right there.
Just www.
Yep, and then value will be the same. Perfect. And then let's see what happens tomorrow. I think that DNS record issue will go away. I didn't realize GitHub Pages wanted you to set both of them.
The check marks don't do anything.
No, I think it's for like a bulk action if you wanted to do one. But go back to GitHub Pages. Let's see if that alone is enough to make that error go away. If you do the check again, I wonder if that's enough to fix it. No, okay. Well, we set it up so that DNS record is there. I think it's just the fact that it's so fresh that it's not showing up. So tomorrow I'll be interested in hearing if that fixed your issue.
Okay.
Anybody else? Questions before we call it for tonight? If you don't have a totally perfectly working website, like we have all tomorrow to work on this. Cool. All right. Well, I'll catch all of you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening.
You too.
See ya.